J.D. Salinger is a literary giant who stood for the beauty of simplicity and the power of genuine human connection in his writing. His life was a testament to the enduring impact of a writer who refused to compromise his art, producing works like The Catcher in the Rye that continue to resonate with readers today. J.D. Salinger's early life was marked by a sense of disconnection and searching. Born in 1919 to a Jewish father and an Irish mother, he grew up on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, surrounded by the privilege of his family's wealth. But Salinger's childhood was also one of isolation. His parents' marriage was troubled, and he often felt like an outsider among his peers. This feeling of not quite belonging would later become a hallmark of his writing. As a young man, Salinger attended Valley Forge Military Academy in Pennsylvania, where he began to develop his writing skills. After dropping out of college, Salinger started writing seriously, churning out short stories that explored the complexities of human relationships. It was during World War II, however, that Salinger's experiences would shape him into the writer he became. He enlisted in the army and saw combat in Europe, including the D-Day invasion of Normandy. The trauma and disillusionment he witnessed during the war would later inform his writing, particularly in works like For Esme with Love and Squalor. That story, with its exploration of grief, guilt, and redemption, is a testament to Salinger's ability to confront the darkest aspects of human experience head-on. Salinger's educational journey was marked by false starts and self-directed learning. He attended Columbia University but didn't stay long. Instead, he honed his craft through intense self-study and apprenticeships with editors like LitWErnest, who published some of Salinger's early work in Story magazine. These experiences taught him the value of disciplined writing, the kind that eschews flowery language for simplicity and honesty. As Salinger's writing career began to take shape, he found himself drawn to the world of short stories, where he could distill his observations of human nature into concise, powerful narratives. His time at Columbia University may have been brief, but it was during this period that he met LitWErnest, an editor who would become a crucial mentor in Salinger's development as a writer. Burnet's emphasis on simplicity and clarity resonated deeply with Salinger, who was already inclined towards a more stripped-down style. Under Burnet's guidance, Salinger began to publish his work in Story magazine, honing his craft through a series of short stories that probed the complexities of relationships and the fragility of the human psyche. It was during this time that he started to develop his unique voice, one that blended a deep empathy for his characters with an unflinching willingness to confront the darker aspects of life. Like Hemingway, Salinger learned to strip away ornamentation and focus on the raw, emotional truth of his characters' experiences. This approach would serve him well in works like A Perfect Day for Bananafish, where he explores the inner turmoil of a young veteran struggling to come to terms with the trauma of war. As Salinger's reputation as a writer grew, so did his circle of literary acquaintances. He became friends with authors like William Faulkner and John O'Hara, who shared his passion for exploring the human condition through fiction. These relationships not only broadened Salinger's literary horizons, but also deepened his understanding of the craft, allowing him to refine his unique voice and perspective. Despite his growing success, Salinger remained committed to his artistic vision, refusing to compromise his values or sacrifice his integrity for the sake of commercial appeal. This unwavering dedication to his craft would eventually lead to the creation of some of his most iconic works, including The Catcher in the Rye, a novel that would go on to capture the hearts and imaginations of readers around the world. The experience of war had left an indelible mark on Salinger's psyche, and he struggled to reconcile the horrors he had witnessed with the comfortable, privileged life he had known before. This tension would become a recurring theme in his work as he grappled with the complexities of guilt, responsibility, and redemption. In stories like For Esme with Love and Squalor, Salinger confronts these issues head-on, crafting narratives that are both deeply personal and universally relatable. The trauma and disillusionment he witnessed firsthand would later inform works like For Esme with Love and Squalor, where he explores the complexities of grief, guilt, and redemption with unflinching honesty. After the war, Salinger returned to the United States and continued to hone his craft, producing a string of short stories that probed the human condition with precision and empathy. It was during this period that he developed his unique voice, one that blended a deep understanding of his characters' inner lives with a willingness to confront the darker aspects of existence. One of Salinger's most significant relationships during this time was with his mentor, LitWErnest. Burnett's emphasis on simplicity and clarity had a lasting impact on Salinger's writing style, which became characterized by its directness, honesty, and lack of ornamentation. It was during this period that Salinger began working on what would become one of his most iconic works, The Catcher in the Rye. This novel, which would go on to capture the hearts and imaginations of readers around the world, was a deeply personal and autobiographical work, drawing heavily from Salinger's own experiences as a young man struggling to find his place in the world. The character of Holden Caulfield, with his rebellious spirit and deep-seated alienation, was a reflection of Salinger's own feelings of disillusionment and disconnection. Through Holden's story, Salinger explored themes of identity, belonging, and the challenges of transitioning from adolescence to adulthood, all set against the backdrop of a rapidly changing post-war America. His stories often probed the tensions between individuality and conformity, as well as the search for meaning and authenticity in a rapidly changing world. In works like Franny and Zooey, Salinger explored the complexities of spiritual seeking and the search for transcendence, themes that were deeply relevant to the post-war generation. Through his characters' struggles and triumphs, Salinger offered a nuanced and deeply human exploration of the human condition, one that continues to resonate with readers today. His relationships with contemporaries like Faulkner and O'Hara, as well as his influences from earlier writers like Hemingway, all played a significant role in shaping his unique voice and perspective. This unwavering dedication to his craft would eventually lead to the creation of some of his most iconic works, including Seymour, An Introduction, and Hapworth, 1924. Both of which showcased Salinger's unique ability to blend philosophical insight with deeply human storytelling. As Salinger's career progressed, he became increasingly reclusive, preferring to focus on his writing rather than engaging with the public or the media. This retreat from the spotlight was partly due to the overwhelming success of The Catcher in the Rye, which had made him a household name and brought him a level of attention that he found uncomfortable. Despite his reclusiveness, Salinger continued to produce significant works, including Franny and Zooey and Seymour, An Introduction. These stories showcased his unique ability to blend philosophical insight with deeply human storytelling, exploring themes of spirituality, identity, and the search for meaning in a post-war world. One of the key techniques that Salinger employed in his writing was the use of dialogue as a means of revealing character. His characters' conversations were often meandering and indirect, reflecting the complexities and nuances of real human communication. This approach added depth and richness to his stories, making them feel more like slices of life than carefully crafted narratives. Salinger's relationships with his contemporaries were also an important aspect of his career. As the years passed, however, Salinger became increasingly disillusioned with the literary establishment and the expectations that came with being a successful writer. He stopped publishing his work and instead focused on writing for himself, producing a large body of unpublished material that would remain unseen by the public until after his death. This decision to withdraw from the public eye has been the subject of much speculation and debate, with some critics viewing it as a sign of Salinger's growing eccentricity or even madness. However, it can also be seen as a testament to his commitment to his art and his refusal to compromise his vision in order to appease the demands of the literary marketplace. In terms of his place in the literary tradition, Salinger's work is often associated with the modernist movement, which emphasized experimentation and innovation in form and style. However, his writing also reflects a deep concern with the human condition and a desire to explore the complexities and mysteries of everyday life. This blend of modernist technique and traditional storytelling has made Salinger's work enduringly popular and continues to inspire new generations of readers and writers. Despite his popularity, however, Salinger's work has not been without its controversies and criticisms. Some have accused him of being overly nostalgic for a lost era of American innocence, while others have criticized his portrayal of women and minorities as limited or stereotypical. These criticisms are not entirely unfounded, and they reflect the complexities and challenges of Salinger's own life and times. He captured the essence of adolescent angst, the search for identity, and the human condition with unflinching honesty, leaving behind a body of work that remains both timeless and timely. In the end, It is not the recluse or the celebrity that we remember, but the writer who gave us a glimpse into the fragility and beauty of the human experience. As Seymour Glass so eloquently put it, the fact is always obvious much too late. Salinger's legacy is a reminder that true artistry lies not in seeking validation, but in staying true to one's vision, no matter the cost. Like this episode if it hit true. Share it if you respect honest talk about authors. Subscribe because we'll do this again. This is Ernest, signing off.